And people might say, Frank, you're talking politics. We don't need politics. You need to hear it because what's going on is going to have serious implications for your portfolio. And for me, I think I was waiting for a response from the White House for Biden to come out. And it took him 3 days as we're watching these videos come and we're running away and we're, getting people I won't even go a month ago, Daniel, where he was like, that's not going to happen like Vietnam and, North Vietnam, where people getting exported off the roofs by helicopter, nothing like that, right? Forget it. I'm not even talking about that. And you could say Trump was like, we're getting the troops out. Obama said we're getting the troops out. Everybody said we're in there 20 years, but just to really run away and I don't think these politicians understand the general public and what we're seeing. We're seeing America leave a country on its own by itself that we're there for 20 years and basically saying F you and hey, we tried to help you, but too bad. And now it's going to result in, the damage to women and their rights is gone, murders in the streets. And to see that and then have our president come on and start blaming Trump and blaming everybody else instead of saying, hey, you know what? The data we got, the intel we got was wrong. We're going to be held accountable. And here's the people that are going to be fired because Biden's not in there. He's not in freaking Afghanistan, right? He's getting reports from Secretary of State. He's getting reports from his generals. And all these guys had it wrong, even though there's plenty of sources showing that this is exactly what was going to happen even 2-3 months ago. Even the Secretary of State was kind of not, was saying, hey, it's getting pretty bad. And I started researching this like 3 months ago and looking at the videos and everything of his updates. But this is the first time I've seen our country united being like, all the media channels being like, what the hell is going on and how do we mess this up? And it's resulting in, the bigger case when it comes to investments, Daniel, is, China, Russia, they're looking at us. They're reporting stuff about Taiwan where, hey, you know what? Anyone who's an ally of the U.S. right now, the fact that we left them and China's going to get stronger and Russia's going to be partnering with Afghanistan, if that's a big deal. They have one of the largest lithium deposits. They have huge resources there. We basically stayed in a place where 20 years without any advantage of resources and stuff like that, which is, typically the reason why you'd go to another country or whatever. And yet now you're going to see Russia, China partner with them. I think it's going to have serious implications. And I really think that's responsible for the huge volatility in the market right now. Throw that with inflation. Now you're finding more and more risks. This is a brand new risk, a geopolitical risk. And man, for me, when I look at this, it's the first time that I have to say in my life that I feel the U.S. as a weak nation. I never, ever felt that before. And again, I wasn't around in the 60s and things like that, but I was just, for me, I couldn't believe it. And I'm not even blaming the current administration. I'm going to blame politics in general. I don't know how you saw it, but there is going to be serious implications. And you're seeing that. A lot of risk coming off the table in small caps. A lot of names going down 20, 30% with no news. You're really starting to see that, Daniel. So I think a lot of this has to do with this story.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to have a global impact. It is a terrible situation to see some of the videos and feeds that are coming through. So hopefully everybody, hopefully that de-escalates and gets safe on all accounts as quickly as possible. Globally, and Chris McIntosh does a great job about talking about this and on the previous podcasts and things, but there's no doubt that alliances and basically new partnerships or different things are being drawn. The new lines are being drawn. So the big takeaway, and you always have to kind of wait and see what's going to happen next, but it will be who bands together more from capital outflows. The thing that jumped out to me was going through some of these earnings is Galaxy Digital, who, basically we've dubbed as being the Goldman Sachs of digital securities. Help me with this, Frank, but it's Mike. Is it Novogratz? I always butcher that.
Mike Novogratz,
former Goldman Sachs guy. Anyway, when they reported earnings just a day or so ago, he led in on the conference call with what was going on in Afghanistan. Not from a standpoint of, hey, did we mess up or we've been there or whatever. It was clearly from a capital control standpoint. And, I mentioned this to you yesterday, Frank, just in passing, but when things like this happen and you have terrible situations, you have confiscation of bank accounts. Just think of all the people there trying to just get by life. How do you get from when you wake up to sundown? That's a big deal. Mm-hmm. You're literally in a war zone, no pun intended. Like, that's crazy to think about. And he led in with that about, hey, that's why crypto is so popular to everybody in the global community, because it is this freedom of you can't shut this down no matter what's going on with governments and from a macro level, you can blame this on governments. You can blame our government, you can blame their government, but his whole point was, hey, this is the kind of backing we want as a financial freedom. And there's no coincidence that that's coming at a time with federal monetary policy being what it is, inflation starting to surge and be more transitory. So yeah, no doubt it's having a deal on volatility, an impact on markets, and small caps are getting the brunt into that, as you noted. But yeah, unfortunately, we have to wait and see how that plays out from new alliances and or how that's handled. But hopefully it gets resolved and de-escalates quickly, because it's a sad situation. So
it really is. It really is.
And then from the other standpoint, I guess you look at Lockheed Martin and all those things anywhere, because if you're going to retaliate or change something,
are they going to retaliate? Or as of right now,
well, that's up in the air. My point is, though, is that from stocks and how investors can look at that if you want to play that game. So.
I mean, and that's why I'm bringing this up. Is I mean, again, you could have personal opinions on this of whose fault it is, whatever. But I just thought that Biden coming out had a chance to win over Americans, unite us, admit that, hey, we got bad intel, we didn't see this happening. People that gave me this intel will be held accountable. Figure out a plan, right? He didn't have a plan. He's like, we're just not going back, right? Because right now, the perception of the world, and you're looking at Russia, North Korea, China, the U.S. is not loyal to their partners and allies. We're running. Sign of humiliation, we're running. People who are running this country maybe terribly weak. I mean, what's the perception out there? Because I don't know, but just this was really caught us off guard and caught, we debated this too when we went back and forth saying, you're not too sure if it caught him off guard. For me, I mean, the approval rating for the president went down. You're seeing both sides. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, and you look at the media channels, they're going crazy attacking the current administration and whatever. And you can blame Trump as well. Whatever. It's for me, the bigger point is the repercussions of this. And Kyle Bass did a good job of highlighting some of these things, but you look at Afghanistan with $3 trillion worth of minerals. The Ghazni province has the largest lithium deposit in the world. A pretty big deal with EVs. Rare earth minerals. I mean, who do you think is going to partner with them? Right? Who's the Taliban going to partner with? They're going to be partnering with Russia and China for this. I mean, that makes us weaker, right? So
yeah, probably not with friends, exactly. And then you look at raw material cost and all that. That's a bigger, broad inflation. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely going to be repercussions.
I mean, China's already saying that they're going to recognize the Taliban as the official government already. I mean, that's what they're writing about. But the U.S. is supposed to set this country to thrive. Now, what smaller country is going to trust us? So when I look at this, and it's just a complete failure of the system. It really is.